So this week is Bereshis Vayishlach. Bereshis Vayishlach. We have a few different ideas in here. We'll start with one, and we can move on to another after a few minutes. So the first idea is in Perek Lamed Daled Pasuk Chaf Tes, which is chapter 34, page 184. So this is the story of Shechem with Dinah. It starts from the beginning of the chapter. On page 180 it says that Dinah was captured by this man Shechem, and he abducted her, and that was because he did that. The sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi to be specific, they went and killed out the whole city. So it's a very interesting back and forth. They made a deal. It's a whole deal, and they ended up, they killed out the whole city. Right? Familiar with the story? You read it? Okay. Now the question here is, why did Shimon and Levi do that? Why did they kill out the whole city?
The only way to get Dinah back.
That was the only way?
They had gotten her back, I believe, because they had made a deal to marry the clans.
But that's just getting your head stuck further into
because they came.
That was a pretty extreme way to get it. So you just think that was the only way that they could get it back?
I thought they came to ask if Dinah could marry his son, right?
Right.
So if they just said no, well, too bad. Well, no, we'll keep her.
No. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the right. That's the cool. Kevin's saying, well, maybe
Levi wanted to execute some sort of judgment.
Yeah. So the question here is, Kevin's saying, well, maybe they needed to. It wasn't so simple. It wasn't an open shut case. That it was just, you could just, say, no, we don't want to, and then everything would have been fine. Maybe it would have been more complicated. But the question is, so it seems that all the authorities, they come to understand why Shimon and Levi, they had to go, right, Shimon and Levi with Shechem, why did they have to kill out the city? Maybe they could have maybe maimed them, maybe
the women and children.
Well, they did leave the women and children over.
It was just the men?
Yeah.
They took the women and children to stay.
Oh,
They took them captured. But the question is, maybe they didn't have to kill them. Maybe why they have to kill the men? Right? The rule is in a rodef, someone called a rodef. A rodef is
chase.
Right. A rodef is to chase. Right. Lerdov. Right. I think today that's how they say it. You want to chase someone, so it's a rodef. So the rule is that if someone is chasing me and he wants to kill me, chas v'shalom, so I could go and kill him back. Because the rule is haba, someone who comes someone who comes to kill you, hashkem, you gotta go up early and kill him instead. Hashkem v'hargai. That's the rule. The rule is someone who that's what the rule is. Someone who breaks into a house at night and is creeping down into the basement. So he's called someone also, right? So he's called a similar idea. He's tunneling in, so you're allowed to kill him because it's assumed that if someone's coming and tunneling in, he's ready to kill.
That's at night, right?
Yeah. Well.
During the day is different.
What do the lawyers think about that?
No,
I think a chance.
I don't know. We have to look up. We have to look up by day.
Okay.
I'm not sure. The pasuk just says it's called. In Hebrew, it's called ba b'machteres. Ba machteres lachtor choser is to dig. He's coming and digging. So we assume he's coming to kill, and therefore, if you put up a fight, he's going to kill. So therefore, if you're not ready to give up your money, so he's going to kill. So therefore, you're allowed to kill him because he's a rodef. He's chasing you, and therefore a rodef is you're obligated. You're exempt. If you kill him, you're exempt because you're allowed to kill him. Not only you're exempt, you're allowed to kill him. Which also ties in with the parsha a little bit. So now that you bring it up, I wasn't going to go into this, but
you're setting yourself up. That's what that.
No, it's really to say about a rodef with someone else. But I'll bring up the idea of the rodef that you're saying right now. Right? See, that's the idea of a rodef, right? Reuven is running after Shimon to kill him. Shimon's allowed to turn back and kill Reuven. Now, there is some rules that, by the way, I'm also allowed. Any bystander is allowed to kill the chaser, the rodef, because he's obligated. It's like he's like letting his life loose, like, because he's obligated to be killed. Anyone could kill him to save. Permitted to be killed. We'll have to see exactly how firm it is. Maybe even more. Maybe he has to see exactly how far. But anyone could kill him because you're saving the person who he's chasing. So that's a rodef. So anyone could kill him. The only thing is that anyone else has to at least try to see if it's possible to maim him and decapacitate him. If you could take off, let's say, his arm, right? That's what they teach in police academy, right? You got to first try to shoot him in the leg. If you could shoot him in the leg and maim him, and he won't be able to, right? That's what they say.
Well, they taught us in the army.
Right, because you don't have to take a life. It's better not to save yourself. But so that's called, if you're able to save yourself. Yachal lahatzil be'echad me'evarav. An avar is a avar. Avar is a limb. If you could save yourself with echad me'evarav, with one of his limbs, then you're not allowed to kill him. It's not just a free license to kill him. It's only where there's no choice. That's a rodef. So, based on that, we can now go back to the beginning of the parsha in honor of Nathan, because Nathan said, let's go back to the beginning. We have to start from the beginning of the parsha. Parshas Vayishlach starts with a big chase. There's a big fight, which is it's not starting yet, but he's running away, right? How did Parshas Toldos ended? Parshas Toldos ended when Yaakov stole the blessings. When he stole the blessings, he ran away because he heard people. He heard his mother. His mother heard through either one of Esav's good friends. She heard that Esav wants to kill Yaakov, so he ran away. She told him, run to Lavan for a few days, Yamim Achadim, a few days, and then you come back. So he went to Lavan, but he never came back yet. And now all of a sudden the parsha starts off, right, page 170. All of a sudden, right, we have now that he's on his way. He's on the road, and as he's going, Esav's coming, right? So he wants to. Esav's coming to kill him. So he was very scared. So the parsha starts off that he prepared himself in 3 ways to do battle with Esav. Right? We'll see the beginning. Rashi says he did 3 things. How do you prepare yourself for battle?
First, he gave gifts.
He sent him a gift. That was the whole beginning of the parsha. Right? You have to know how to get someone.
That's not preparing for battle.
No, this has become.
This was the alternative.
This particular formula has been the Jewish formula. Ad Hayom Hazeh. First, you try and give them gifts.
Right. What's the next thing?
They separated the women and the children.
Well, that's already.
No.
That's already going to be the battle. That's the step of battle. That's number 3.
Then. What's the second one? Pray.
Pray.
But I would say you pray first. Then you give the gifts.
Yeah, I'll show you what Rashi says. Rashi brings down.
Gotta pray for the whole thing to work out.
Yeah, no, that's true. Rashi says that he made like Kevin is saying, that he split up the camps. So Rashi says, if I have no choice, I'll fight with him. Right? And he says he prepared himself with these 3 things. Doron, presence. Tefillah, to pray. L'melchama, to fight. So Doron is that he sent him all the sheep and the cattle. And then he davened. And that's what you'll see in the beginning of the parsha. He davened to the God of my father Avram. And the fight, like we're saying over here, that's what Rashi brings down on Pasuk Tes. So,
sorry, what was the 3rd thing?
Melchama.
Actual fight.
What does Melchama mean? War. The actual fight. And there Rashi says on those words that you said, that he actually split up the camp, and he said that if we have to, I'll fight, and I'll be with the first camp, and I'll fight, and by the time I finish fighting, the other camp will be able to run away. They'll escape.
I want you to comment at the end that fight that he has with Esau's angel, because out of Yom Hazeh, I really don't understand what was going, what they, like.
What the fight was about.
First they're fighting, and then he says to me, "Give me a blessing."
Well, wait, okay, we'll have to go into it. Okay,
So clear that it's a malach of Esau. There's a lot of different.
But that's a heavy one.
Okay, so one question at a time. First I want to deal with your first question.
At 56, years old.
You want to get in all your questions. You gotta start answering now.
I'll remember what he says. I'll remember.
Time to answer the questions.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so what happens is Esau is coming, right, with 400 men.
You're 56, I'm only 55. You gotta stop fighting.
And if person 70, you gotta really stand up for him. So Esau's coming with all his 400 people.
Yeah.
So Yaakov sends him this sheep and the cattle, and he tells him those words. He tells him, "My master,
The bracha didn't come through.
yeah, I really I'm not really so successful. I didn't really get so much blessing
Because he's
out
not
of it."
seeing his whole family, because one of the camps he separated one of the camps. When he approaches Asa, he doesn't have everybody with him. He's with like the first one, right?
That's right.
And the other one is
You want to say that's why?
when he split up two camps. Actually, one was probably being,
Behind a hill.
behind a hill or somewhere. And so when Asa didn't see the whole picture, like
So half the pictures.
Yeah.
half the picture, so it wouldn't look like he's so blessed.
And he was like bowing 7 times.
I don't think that Esau
Like,
would think
listen,
a blessing
you win.
is having women and children.
I have no beef with you.
Right.
I don't think that.
Oh, so
that's
Rashi
Esau has
says-
plenty of women and children.
Here you have pasuk Hey, Rashi, right on the page 170, the third line.
Garti.
Irving.
I'm listening.
Okay, Garti im Lavan Garti. This is the famous pasuk. What is this? The second pasuk of the parsha. Second pasuk of the parsha. Im Lavan Garti. So Yaakov tells Esav, with Lavan I have lived, and I stayed by him till now. So Rashi says, what does it mean? You have sojourned. A ger is to live in a place as a stranger. So Rashi says, he used the word garti from the word ger. So he says, I haven't become anyone lo nasise sar. I have not become a sar, an officer. V'chashuv, I haven't become anyone chashuv, anyone important. El ger. What have I been doing for the last
Running, sojourn.
20 some odd years?
34. No? Didn't we say
22, let's say 22 years. 22 years, all I've been is a ger. I've been a stranger in someone's house with no one. I didn't know anyone in the city. So he told him, therefore, Eincha kedai lisnos osi, you shouldn't hate me, al birchas avicha, for the blessings of my father and your father, who blessed me. The blessing was, you should be a gevir, you should be the master for your brother. I didn't get those blessings. Okay, so that was that idea. So therefore
The other take is about entire mitzvot, right?
the other take, Rashi says another pshat. I see you have the Chumash open there in your head. The other pshat is very good, that the word garti, if you switch around the letters, garti, those letters are the magical letters of Gimel Reish Tes Taf Yud is Tar Yag. You switch the letters around. Taf is Tar, and the Yud, Tar Yag is the letters 613. Taf is 400. Reish is 200. That's 600. Yud is 10, 610, and Gimel is 3. So the other idea is that he told Esav, with Lavan, Garti, I observed all the 613 mitzvahs. Even though Lavan was a wicked person, and still I watched all the 613 mitzvahs, and I didn't learn from him any of his evil ways. So that's what he was telling Esav. He told Esav, in Lavan Garti, I was living with Lavan Garti, but I wasn't. The word on a medrashic level means with Lavan I was doing all the 613 mitzvahs. That's what Rashi brings down, the second idea there. And therefore, the idea is, he's telling Esav, you're not going to be able to win me because I'm still doing all the mitzvahs. Because the whole idea of the blessing that Isaac gave to Yaakov was, as long as you'll be doing the mitzvahs, then you'll be able to be on top, because he really got the blessings. Yaakov really got the blessings. So he got them first. So Esav ran in and got, like, he asked his father, is there anything left? His father said, I gave everything to Yaakov. So he started crying. He said, is there one blessing left? Maybe one bracha. So his father told him, when Yaakov will take down the yoke, right, the oil, when he stops doing the mitzvahs, so then you'll have the ability to have a claim and say he's not really worthy. Ufarakta uloi. Parak ol means when you just throw away the yoke. So if he'll throw away the yoke and not do the mitzvahs, then he's not entitled to the blessings. He loses his whole entitlement. So then you could have a claim, and then you get the blessings. Which means, so when this brother will be learning and doing the mitzvahs, so then he'll be on top. If not, he loses his claim and his merit to the blessings, and then you'll be on top. So therefore, that was what the Rashi said in Parshas told us on that blessing, that when he goes, he'll go down. But if you're doing the mitzvahs, then he won't be able to hit you. He won't be able to reach you. So that was the idea there. That Esav was promised, but when your brother will let go, al charbecha tichya, then you'll have the sword. Then you'll be able to win against him. Okay, so based on that, so that's what Rashi is saying in the second idea, that Yaakov is telling Esav, I'm doing all Taryag mitzvos, I'm keeping all the 613 mitzvos. Therefore, you're not able to hit me, you're not able to get me. This day, your father gave you a bracha, a blessing of you'll live by the sword, al charbecha, on the cherev, on the sword you'll live, tichya. That's only when you take off the yoke, when you throw away the yoke. But I am doing the whole Torah. Im lavan garti. I'm doing the whole Taryag mitzvahs. Very nice. Very beautiful. Okay. So now, that's the idea of what he was telling Esav. And he told Esav, then I got, here's some things. I got shar and a chamar. So let's go into the whole idea there. Now, Pasuk Ches. Let's turn to verse 8. So verse 8 states, after they delivered the present, right, till verse 8, they delivered the present to Esav, and Esav told them, and he told Esav, your master Yaakov has sent this in front of you, and he said these words, in love and garti, the whole thing. Now, in verse 8, it says, they returned. In verse 7 it says Vayashuvu hamalachim. Verse 7 it says they returned. Let's go back actually to the bottom of page 170. The messengers came back to Yaakov, Leimer, and they told him, Vanu el achicha el Esav. We came back to your brother. We came back to Esav. It's a little bit repetitious. We came back to your brother, to Esav. So Rashi just brings down, you were saying he's your brother, but really he's acting to you like the wicked Esav, and he still hates you. And the pasuk finishes, and he's coming towards you with 400 men to fight. So verse 8 says, Vayira Yaakov me'od. So Yaakov was very scared. Vayetzer lai, and he was pained. And therefore he divide the camp into two, and he prepared for the war. So Rashi brings down, what was he scared about? So literally, right, Rashi breaks it up into two parts. Vayira, Rashi says, Shema Yeharig. Rashi over here, the first line on page 172. Vayira, Vayetzer, Vayira, he was scared. Vayira Shema Yeharig. He might get killed. He was scared for his life. Vayetzer loy, and he also was pained. What is the idea of that? What was he distressed about? He was distressed in Yarig who, that Yaakov thought maybe he's going to end up killing someone. So he didn't want to, he would feel bad if he would kill someone.
That contradicts the story of Dinah that later in the chapter, where the sons had no problem killing all those people because of the aspect of chasing.
He would have done it. He just didn't want to do it.
Wait, now by Dinah, we'll have to get into Dinah, because Dinah, no one's chasing them.
Okay, but you're saying that somebody chases you, you're allowed to kill them.
Right.
So then Jacob should have no problem. If these 400 people are chasing him, he should have no problem.
Oh, that's what Nathan is bringing up. Now you're speaking out the question and putting it into words. The question is, why was he scared that he might kill someone? Let's say kill someone. Esau's coming to do battle.
Don't compromise the mitzvah.
Which mitzvah?
To not kill.
But it's not a mitzvah. There's no mitzvah
You should not murder.
But
You shouldn't kill someone.
that mitzvah of don't murder. In Hebrew it's called Loi Sirtzach. Lo Sirtzach. Don't kill. But that mitzvah does not apply if someone's chasing you.
Okay, fine. But
You want to say the idea?
But no, it's a judgment call. Is he chasing me? Is he not chasing me?
So
he's going to come to a situation that maybe he's going to end up killing somebody by accident, who was maybe retreating,
You take back.
and then he loses the whole blessings and everything, and Esau in the end wins.
You're saying it might not be clear if they're
In the heat of battle, I don't think it can happen, right?
what?
They say in the heat of battle, like a lot of things can happen.
It is true. In the heat of battle, a lot of things happen. But the question is, if 400 people are coming, so we know that they're coming. Rashi said that he was still hating him. He's still. Rashi brings down on the pasuk Zion. He's your brother. He's Esav. He still hates you. So they're coming to do war.
The messengers told him that. He didn't know for sure, no?
But when he heard there's 400 guys, he must know for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, Esau is a king of Seir.
Yeah.
Right.
He would never travel alone anyways. I mean, it's customary for huge... I don't know.
But Rashi says on pasuk Zion.
400 guys.
Who knows?
Rashi says on pasuk Zion, he's still right. Look at the pasuk of Zion. Rashi's saying the pasuk says we came to your brother.
That's
To Esau.
Right, and that's when Jacob knew that he was still being hated by Esau.
Right.
Until then, he didn't know that.
Okay, until then. But right now, so what are you asking? But right now he's going to have to do the war, or he's after that. It says he was scared.
Right.
So I want to know that in pasuk Ches, in verse 8 it says he was scared. In verse 7 it says he found out that Esau's coming and he hates him, and he has 400 men with him. So
Could be to honor him if he didn't know that it was...
no, but it says that he hated him.
Yeah, but that's when the Malachim came back and said Esau is still after you. But until then, Esau could come out to honor his brother until he had the new
Until
or
when?
whatever.
Until right now, pasuk Zion, the Aruch Chaim says that these messengers came back. No, it says by Yashuvu HaMalachim, the messengers came back, and they told him, we went to your brother. He's putting on a face like he's your brother, but in truth, he's really Esav, who
Holds a grudge.
who hates you, and he's coming with 400 men. So he says over here, it's for a machshava ra. He has bad thoughts. Why he's coming? It seems that he's coming. I would say that means he's coming to war.
Right.
So the way they make all the pictures of the kids going to, maybe I can't bring a proof from here, but the little kids, they draw the pictures, they show them coming to battle with all the swords. That's but just from this idea, just to take out from that, it seems that he was coming to do war. The truth is, it could be the Rashbam says what you're saying. The Rashbam seems to say that he's coming. He's happy that you're coming, and he's coming with 400 people. L'chvaydcha.
To honor him, maybe.
So the Rashbam says, Rashbam always goes with the simple, plain meaning. So that could be, according to Rashbam, for sure. It seems like you're saying.
Why would he be frightened? The next sentence says Jacob was frightened. That only supports the interpretation that he's coming for trouble.
But these weren't messengers. They were. It says Malachim. They were.
But the Sfardo says that we saw him. We saw that he's coming with these 400 people, and Ve'ein said this is only to fight. Yeah, he says the Sfardo says that he was coming to fight. Yeah, that's okay. So based on that, he was scared. Maybe he was scared that that's what. Look at the truth is. They bring the Ramban also says. Ramban says. He wasn't sure. Maybe you're right. Maybe he wasn't sure. But the Ramban says that when he said that Esau was coming towards you, it says in the pasuk, "V'gam hoylech lekroscha," in verse 7. He's coming towards you. So, and he has 400 people. He was scared. He said, "Why did he take these 400 people?" So Irving was optimistic. Irving's saying, "Well, to honor you." That's an optimistic. That's the Rashbam says that, but the Ramban says he was scared. Maybe he's taking these 400 people to fight against me. Ramban's words are, he was yarei lenafshay. Yarei means he was Scared for his life. Me'oid, exceedingly. Ki Amar, Yaakov said, Loi lokach kolela. He didn't take all these people. Rakli lochepi, only because he wants to fight me.
Was he scared for his life? At this point, he had 11 sons.
He was scared for his life.
So he had 11 sons now. Benjamin was just born, or he's about to be born.
Binyamin
is about to be born.
Is not born yet.
Okay,
right.
So he's got 10, and he knows that there has to be 12.
He had 11 sons.
He knows that there has to be 12 Shevatim.
Benjamin was born. He was born.
Binyamin.
Not Yosef was born.
Rachel dies a little bit later.
Rachel's going to be born in this parsha. In this parsha.
Oh, during the death of Yosef.
During this parsha.
Right.
Yeah.
So Benjamin is born, I think.
Binyamin will be born.
Will be?
He will be born in this parsha.
Isn't it Yosef that's born and the
But she
death
was
of
already born in the last parsha.
No, not the last baby. Not Binyamin. Where was Binyamin?
No, Yosef's the last.
Yosef.
Oh, sorry, Benjamin. Sorry.
That's right.
Yosef was the first son of Rachel.
Yeah.
Binyamin was the second.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So that's what
She does the child. That will
So
be.
he's got 11.
You'll
but
keep
doesn't
your
he
eyes
know he's
open to
got
that.
11 though.
This week you'll keep your eyes by laning Perek Lamed Hates towards the end, after the whole story with Shechem. Right after the Shechem, it says, as the baby was going out, she said, "This is my son." She called him Binyamin.
So
He's the
there's my
father.
question there. He knows he's got 11, and does he know by Nevuah that there has to be 12?
Yeah,
And he's worried for himself, or he's worried for...
He was worried for
Israel?
himself. He was worried for himself also, because you can't work with, seeing what the future is going to be. You have to do effort. You got to
The
put
reality of what it is.
Yeah, you got to do reality. You can't just look to the future and say, well, maybe one of his wives was expecting. You never know what. You have to work with hishtadlus. You got to put in the effort. A person can't say, well, Hashem already allotted to me from Rosh Hashanah exactly how much money I'll make. Right? It says that Hashem writes down.
Work for it.
You have to. You can't just leave back. Well, it's written in.
On vacation.
No, you have to. It's brought down.
You still got to punch the clock.
You got to punch the clock.
Right.
This is the first thing that that the famous book called Chovos Halvavos writes. You have to do hishtadlus. Hishtadlus means you got to put in the effort.
Right.
So if you don't put in the effort, right, that also a person has to protect himself. Might be decreed how long a person will live, but you have to do all the efforts precautions to make sure a person's healthy, takes medicine, whatever. He has to go to the doctor. That's hishtadlus. Hishtadlus is the number one effort. To get married, you got to do hishtadlus. You have to do the right research, outreach, looking out. So therefore, based on that, so now we have the pasuk here.
It's not like hishtadlus. You said to get married, you got to do it. It's not like hishtadlus changes right after you get married. That's when the real effort.
You got to do a different effort. You got to do a different effort. You have to do, you got to do. You got to
Just a
do.
little insight.
Yeah. Different efforts. It changes. So based on this, so we have now an argument. Irving's bringing out very nice. Irving is saying that according to Rashbam, he thought maybe Esau's coming with 400 people to honor him. The Ramban says no, he was coming out. He wanted to fight. I'll bet they'll even bring down this argument over here. It's such a big argument. That's why he was taking all these people. So they bring right over here. Right over there, you see what it says over there, page 173, brings down the Ramban that he thought maybe he's coming with such an army to attack him. And he thought he might be killed.
It's a fair assumption.
The Rashbam happens to say maybe he was optimistic. Maybe he's coming to honor me. So now, the question here is, but now the big question is, why was he scared of killing someone? So if he kills someone, he's pater, he's exempt, because a rodef is exempt if he kills anyone. So Esav is the biggest rodef you could find. Esav is coming with 400 men, and he's if he starts to do war, which means maybe we'll see. If he takes out his sword, then I know he's a rodef. So I'm going to fight back.
If I steal something from somebody, and then they come to chase me to get it back, to kill me necessary, maybe to kill me to get it back. Right?
What type of stealing is it? Is it a case of a bob and machteres, where you tunnel in the middle of the night into his house?
Yeah, let's say I tunneled in, I stole something from his house, very valuable, and now he's chasing me through my tunnel out.
So there, since
and he's going to kill me.
You hear this case? He wants to know if you tunnel in, if a ganav robber tunnels in, and now
you're chasing him after he's already stolen.
You're chasing after the robber.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And the robber tries to kill you.
Well, now it's
Is the robber okay to kill you?
Is the robber, and he turns to kill you.
So I think he's also allowed to, because since you try to kill him, that's a good question.
Well, what if the robber tunnels back into his house, and you go through the tunnel, and you're going into his house? Now you're the...
No.
Right, but you're justified because you're trying to get back your property.
Right, so you're for sure allowed to kill him.
But you're also trying to kill him.
Right.
You're for sure allowed to defend himself. He can turn around and kill you.
I have to check this out, but I think he could kill you because you're being rodef him.
Yeah.
But although you're a rodef with reshus, you're a rodef with permission. There's a difference between a rodef with permission. I'm not sure. Could be he's not allowed.
It's a gray area.
You know where it comes up? It comes up with two different scenarios. It comes up a rodef. The first case will be someone who kills someone by mistake. By mistake, b'shogeg. The rule is the Chumash writes that let's say it would be Reuven kills, let's say Shimon by mistake. So the rule is that the descendants of Shimon, they are able to kill Reuven, unless Reuven runs to the city of refuge. Yeah, city of refuge, he runs to it. But if he leaves that city of refuge, it's like like the base. Then he could kill him. But if he goes out of the city of Mikla,
and they're exempt from.
And if they kill him, then they are exempt because they have reshus. That's called a special permission. So it is. It seems that that's the idea. I think he's allowed to kill him back. So I think we'll have to check up this exact case.
I guess my point is maybe that he was frightened because he felt guilty of stealing the birthright.
No. Why did? He didn't have to feel guilty about stealing the birthright.
He wasn't guilty about it.
He didn't feel. You know why?
Because he felt justified that it was the right thing to be done.
Right.
Then why is he frightened?
Why was it the right thing to be done? Because the way the Orach Chaim explains that he had a command from his mother.
Right. The mother said.
And his mother didn't just decide it on her own. His mother had a prophecy.
Right.
That was the idea of
why they were angry at. He should have been angry at the mother. There's no argument about Esav with the mother.
I'm suggesting, even if he was justified, he was right, he was listening to his mother, he'd still feel guilty about it. And I think that the reason he's frightened here is because of the guilt he feels.
I think he's guilty.
But we have to find out. I
think that he's afraid.
I have to look it up. If someone says I never saw anyone say that he felt guilty because he did it with his mother's command and she did it through.
I think that the reason
prophecy.
why he's afraid is because he knows he's going to be victorious.
Rashi says what? Rashi
he's going to have to kill him. He doesn't want to kill him. He knows he has God on his side. He has the blessing on his side. He's afraid that what he's afraid of, he's going to have to go down to that level.
And I'm suggesting that if it was a justifiable thing to do, if somebody comes to kill you, even your brother, and it's justifiable that you would have to kill him to defend yourself, you wouldn't be frightened about anything.
Oh, you would be frightened.
I think the reason he's frightened is because
No, you would be frightened because...
At least from Esav's point of view, Esav is justified in being very angry with him. And therefore, if I have to kill my brother out of this anger that I created, then I can feel frightened and guilty about that.
Well, no. But we have to check it out. If you find someone who says that, then yeah. But so far, I never saw anyone say that he felt guilty, and he did it to.
He was more concerned out of being a mockery to his father if he doesn't, because of his voice and because of his arms not being hairy.
Yeah, he was concerned about.
What if my father discovers the trickery or something? I think he was more.
That's what he was concerned. He was concerned his father might catch him. And why was he concerned that his father might catch him? Not because he'll be just embarrassed. That was one thing. He'll be embarrassed. But the reason, what does the verse say? What does the pasuk say? He was scared. Maybe my father will feel me, and he'll get cursed.
Oh.
And he'll curse me. That's what he was scared about. Which means he wasn't scared about. I don't think he had any problems.
Well, he was afraid that if Yitzhak would find out, he would be upset. That he's being tricked into this?
Yes. And
even though it was up to his wife?
Well, but you're still tricking me. You're coming and stealing these blessings.
Said to his mother, what if my father finds out and the blessing will turn to a curse?
Ula yemusheni avi. Maybe my father will feel me. Yisi be'enav, and I'll be in his eyes. Kemisateya, like a tricker. Vehevesi alai, and he'll bring on me klala, a curse, v'loy bracha, not a blessing. That's what he was really concerned about. So now, the question, but Rashi says very clearly, right? Rashi, and they bring it down also over there, that Rashi says that he was scared that maybe, right? You could look over here. They bring it down. That they bring the Rashi. Rashi, they said he was scared, he was frightened that he would be killed, and he was distressed that he might kill others. So Rashi says clearly that those were the two concerns. Shema Yeharig, he will be killed, or Yaharoig, he will kill others. So now the question is, so Kevin wants to know, together with Nathan, well, what's the problem?
He'd be putter.
He'd be putter. He's a rodef. Esav's a rodef. A nirdaf, the one who's being chased, is allowed to kill.
But is Yaakov coming back to Esav's land? He's coming back. I mean, that's Esav's territory. In the situation with a thief breaking into his house, is it the same idea that Yaakov's coming back into his land as opposed?
And then what? So
like,
what?
So it's like Yaakov's initiating. You're saying?
Yeah, like in a way.
No, but why is he initiating? He's just going on the road.
He's going into his brother's territory.
Oh no, he wasn't going.
Proactive about causing this conflict.
Yeah, he wasn't going into his territory. All the pasuk says that he went on the road. The last verse in last week's parsha, it says where was he going? It says Yaakov went on the road. No, it doesn't say he was going.
He's coming back to
the place. Okay, he's allowed to come to Canaan. Esav's place was Seir.
Right.
Your truth is you're right. He did. He sent the messengers. He sent the messengers to Seir, but I don't know if he was going into his territory. He sent him. The first pasuk says, the first verse says, he sent the messengers to Esav who lived in Seir, but it doesn't say that he was going to go. He wasn't going to go to his. He was going to go to his father's house and his mother. He wanted to see his mother. He thought he would be able to get her.
Or something, right?
No. Going around is with in the end of Chumash when the descendants wanted to go through Seir and they went around. They said. So it's interesting that the Medrash brings down on this. The Medrash says that he was scared that he might kill Esav, and his father would curse him. His father would curse him. I think that's the Medrash. I think the Medrash says this idea that it wasn't because he was scared that he would kill Esav. Okay, he's allowed to kill Esav. Esav's a rodef. But he was scared that his father would hear about it. His father thought, in Yitzchak's eyes, Esav was a kosher Jew, a good Jew. Right? And Yitzchak was already blind and he didn't realize.
No, but he had already come to the realization when he says he smelled Gehenna. When Esav came back from Bradley, he realized that now all these years he was blinded by Esav, right?
So you have to know, did Yitzchak, did he understand everything now? Because on the other hand, Yitzchak did give Esav a blessing at the end of the day. He told him, I'll give you one more, I'll give you that blessing of when he stops doing he lets down on the yoke. It's not clear. Not clear if the whole idea, if the whole game was up. So the Medrash wants to say that Yitzchak, when he hears that Yaakov killed Esav, who was his prized son, he might curse Yaakov. That's what the Medrash brings down. Although this is not, seems that maybe that could be even the explanation into Rashi, because Rashi is coming from the Medrash. You have to look up, see the Medrash inside. It could be that this is a source of Rashi, and that's the deeper reason why he was scared of killing him. That's one way to look at it, to attack this question. On the other hand, there's another idea maybe in the halachas of a rodef. What's the rules of a rodef? So we spoke a little bit about it earlier, that maybe he was scared. Rashi's words are, who was he scared he was going to kill? Right? Rashi says, if you see again the Rashi, the first line, Rashi says, Vayira Vayetzer. What's the first line on page 172? He was scared and distressed. Vayira Hashem Yeharik. He was scared he might be killed. And it says Vayetzer, he was distressed that Im Yarigu Es Acher, maybe he would kill others. So maybe he wasn't so distressed about killing Esav, but maybe it's what you said a little bit about the family. So he said like this. One second, let me see how he says it, because it's similar to what Mike was saying before.
Charles.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
Okay.
Probably for a couple weeks. I have to
Who? Oh, okay, nice.
See Shabbos?
See you then.
We're
going to Project Elsewhere. The Shabbat.
Yeah, so the truth is, he brings down this is brought down by Rabbi Eli Goldwasser. He says, like you want to say, that maybe some of the people that came with Esav, maybe they weren't coming to kill. And he says these exact words that you're saying, that with the bilbul, the confusion of the milchama, of the whole fight, he might kill someone who's really not coming to kill him.
He's out for a nice walk.
Did you saw this already? You looked at it.
I don't think I had that one.
This is Rabbi Eli Goldwasser. He wrote on Rashi. He explained a lot of the Rashis. So he wants to say that maybe one of the people would come along with Esav. Maybe they were coming to kill other people. It's not so clear exactly. You have to think. We have to look up exactly what they were coming to do. But in the confusion of war, maybe Yaakov was scared. He would kill someone who's really maybe not obligated to be killed, or maybe if he could decapacitate them, so maybe he would be obligated to do that, and in the whole midst of the war he might not do that. So the truth is, there's an argument if the actual person who's being chased, if he has to decapacitate the person who's chasing him, because in his whole confusion, so maybe it's not, he's not obligated to try to do that. Because in the confusion, it could be that there's an argument that some people say that since he's so mixed up, a person by war, like you were saying, so he might not be able to concentrate on cutting off his foot. So therefore, there's an argument. Some say he doesn't have to. The actual rodef and the nirdaf, the actual person who's being chased, doesn't have to decapacitate the chaser. It's only bystanders, because bystanders have the presence of mind to be able to do that. But the actual one who's being chased doesn't have to. He could just kill straight out. That's one view. But this view would be saying that no, even the one who's being chased has to try to decapacitate him, and therefore Yaakov was scared. He might maybe kill someone straight out without trying any alternative methods. So therefore, that's that would be the second idea. So those would be two ideas. If you hold that you have to decapacitate him, Yaakov was scared. Maybe he won't do it, and he'll be obligated for killing someone without a license. On the other hand, if you hold that you could just kill, so then you have to say the other reason from the Medrash, that what he was scared about was that he would kill, and then his father would think that he killed someone. He killed Esav, his prized son, and maybe on that he would get angry. Those are two ways how to attack that idea.
So can we address Nathan's question now about the wrestling with the angel?
Yes. Now let's go to the wrestling with the angel. So that was, you wanted to know. You had there was one more question also that you were asking about.
Dinah and Levi and Shimon that killed all the.
But that's another parsha.
It's parsha.
What about?
That's how you started.
So the truth is, yes. So what I was going to say about, I wanted to also say why.
They go now?
Why would
they circumcise the other guy?
That's this week's parsha. So that's really what we started asking.
Right.
Why did Shimon and Levi kill the whole city? That's pretty extreme. As we started off saying, they would have to decapacitate them if they're able to. How could they just go kill them? Right? They came into the city, and they could have just they could have decapacitated them if they're able to kill them.
They were decapacitated already. They were in the pain of circumcision.
They were in the pain. So why couldn't they just go in and take?
They could have taken Dina and walked away.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole city there. They would have come after them.
No, they were shamed.
So how does that change it from them killing as opposed to
It's only 12 brothers.
You say because they killed out the whole city.
No, but there was only two that were.
You were saying that they could have taken
the whole.
You were saying that they could have taken already Dina because they were circumcised. So why did he have to go kill them?
Because the next day or next week, when they recovered, they'd send an army after the 12 brothers, and they'd kill all the 12 brothers. Take Dina back again.
So
it wouldn't solve anything.
Yeah.
They'd have Dina back, but then the men would heal. They'd say, "What the hell? We circumcised ourselves for nothing. You stole Dina away, tricked us. We're going to kill all of you."
Right.
Right.
So
the only choice was to go kill them all.
So I want to tell you here, so what the Rambam says that the reason why Shechem, I'll read you a Rambam, it's in the laws of the wars and the laws of kings. So it said that there are 7 mitzvos that the Noachites, that the non-Jews are obligated in. 7 mitzvos. Number 1 is, should we do Al?
Wait, we did the Al.
Yeah, we mentioned this before. They didn't have
David, you have it in your notes.
They didn't have
Wait,
Biting
David has
the
it.
arms off living animals.
Right? You cannot eat a
Aver
from a live animal, even after it dies, but you can't take it off while it's alive. It has to be slaughtered.
You have to have
Here it is.
At Aleph, Aver ben Achai Beis.
Beit Din?
We'll have to see that.
No,
Could
that
be,
was-
it could be
Can't curse
Dalit.
Hashem.
Dalit is din.
Oh, that
Beis.
was,
That base is
Birchas
can't curse
Hashem, one
Hashem.
cannot curse Hashem.
Right.
Gimel, 1 second,
Don't
Dave.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got all that.
Don't steal.
Sorry.
Don't steal. You're
Right.
not allowed to steal.
Yeah.
Dalit is
Gezel.
Dinim.
Dalit is
courts.
dinim. They have to set up a court system
Right.
to enforce the other laws that they have. Hey is
He is.
Sorry. I'm not gonna say
they're
anything.
not allowed to kill. You're saying a terig, they can't kill.
Yeah, with the sword.
And Vav is
Covet.
probably no. That's not one of the.
No.
Oh, Vov is one of the.
This is a hard one. Probably
Yeah,
that
because
below Elohim Acherem, they shouldn't have other gods.
Right.
And Zion is a nus. They shouldn't be adulterous
Right.
with other people's wives. So those are the 7 mitzvos. So Dalit. So we have Gimel. Gimel is they shouldn't steal. That means non-Jews are obligated not to steal. And Dalit is dinim. They have to set up a court to enforce the other 6 mitzvos that they have to abide by.
They did it because they never set up courts or something.
Who did it?
The brothers killed out the people because they didn't follow court systems. They didn't follow no.
The last
Right,
one
right.
above, they were adulterous with Dinah.
I don't know. If
That. Oh, so this
I
is
don't
And
a.
then, but there's no court system to go to, so no alternative. If there was a court system they could have gone to have it redressed, and got Dinah back, that would be one thing. Because there's no court system and they did that thing, they had no choice but to take action.
But why did they have to kill them?
Because there was no other alternative that would get them out of the situation.
No, they weren't. They
So-
weren't doing the mitzvahs that they were commanded to do.
The answer is they didn't do the 7 mitzvahs. They didn't do that mitzvah.
So no, but that doesn't make sense. Because then the brothers would have had to be obligated to kill them whether they stole Dinah or not.
The
That's
reason,
if he
no.
hasn't-
Why are they obligated?
Why?
Oh, because they didn't. No, but they only have
They
to put
weren't
up.
punishing them for not having
Why
courts.
not?
They were forced.
Why not? No, but when you have to put up a court, you have to make a court when something's done wrong.
Well,
If nothing's done wrong, you don't need a court.
okay.
So Irving says beautifully, along with the Rambam. The Rambam writes, the nations have to do all the 7 mitzvos, and number 4, Dalit, is to make a din, or make a bezdin, make a court if someone does something wrong. And here they did something wrong. Says the Rambam that they're obligated to set a court, make a court in every city to enforce the other 6 mitzvos and to warn everyone about it. And if a non-Jew goes against any of those 7 mitzvos, they get killed with the sword. They get killed.
How is this different from the son of Shem, Hamor?
Yeah.
He's a prince. How is that different than like
His father.
Abimelech with Sarah or Abimelech with Rivka? Like a king has that power in order to say you're my wife or almost something like that.
No, so no, I don't know.
I mean, it sounded like that from the previous.
No, but he doesn't have the power. They had to take they took Sarah away, but right when they took her away, they weren't allowed to touch
They
her.
were cursed. They were cursed.
They weren't allowed to touch her. So I don't know if you had a right. We want to know how far a king's right goes. I don't know if they had a right to touch her. In the end of the story, in each of the stories, they weren't allowed to touch her. They had to give her back. So the Rambam writes, and that's why all the people of Shechem were obligated to be killed. They were already, they were held accountable. Shahari Shechem Gozal. Shechem was a Goslin. He stole. That's called stealing also. He stole Dinah. And the whole city, Haim, they Ra'u, they saw, V'yadu, they knew what he did, V'lai danuhu, but they didn't take
Charge
it
him.
to court.
Okay.
And therefore, a Ben Noach, a guy, he gets killed when he goes against one of the mitzvos. Once you see one of his other 6 mitzvos, 7, any of those 7, and therefore they should have killed Shechem.
So why was Yaakov so upset?
And they didn't kill Shechem. So the fact they didn't kill Shechem, they didn't set up a court system, so they're all obligated. They're all going against. He went against the mitzvah of Gezel, and they went against the mitzvah of Dinim. They didn't make a court system, so they're all obligated to be killed.
How come Yaakov was?
That's the
Why
Rambam's
was
job.
Yaakov upset then?
Wait, does that mean that
Comes along
Well,
the
that's the
Rambam.
Rambam.
Does that
That doesn't
mean
mean he's
that
necessarily right.
The Rambam is a piece of Torah. The Rambam is a Rishon.
Yeah, but he's a commentary. But Irv asked a
But it's
good
a
question.
self-help?
He's asking a good question. So that's already.
Why is Yaakov so upset what they did?
He was
So now-
afraid of what his name
now-
would
Wait
be
a
in
second,
the
I have a
future.
question here. This is,
Yeah.
I think,
Okay. Hold your question. Remember.
are you saying that we're
Hold on, please.
obligated to kill people, like we're the police, and we're obligated to kill people when we see that they don't follow the laws of Noah?
If there aren't courts to enforce it.
That's right, because there's no courts to enforce. That means I have to do self-help.
If there are no courts,
Because there's no courts,
that's not
the
self-help.
brothers have to do self-help. They
It
have
was-
to get their own remedy. They have to remedy the situation on their own.
But that's not. They
not-
didn't do self-help. No, the Rambam is saying the reason why they killed them is because the city was obligated to be killed.
So what are you saying? If they,
It's not self-help to get. They could have killed. They could have just taken off the feet
if this story, let's
Why
say,
was the city obligated to be killed?
because they didn't
They
set
didn't
up
set
a
up
court
courts.
to enforce the problem that Shechem stole Dinah.
They were
Shechem didn't
obligated
get
to
it.
know
say
white
Shechem
laws.
stole
He
somebody
stole.
else that wasn't one of the children. Let's say they stole a stranger. So the brothers hear that they stole some woman that they don't know. Okay, and they have no court system to redress it. Therefore, we're obligated to
That's
kill the
not
whole
in the
city.
Chumash. You have to stick with what's in
That could be. Yeah.
Well, that,
Yeah. That's what the
so
Rambam is
the
saying.
Rambam is saying that we're obligated to police the world.
Now, I don't know how far you want to go. The question is how far. This is a big issue.
The same thing with Amalek.
It's a big issue.
I'm-
How
I'm
far
saying
do
that
we go?
The proper way in reading it is that because he stole Dinah,
Right.
and there was no other way we could redress the situation, meaning they should have had court systems so we could go to get Dinah back. There was no court system to get Dinah back. Therefore, the brothers still had to get Dinah back, and they had no choice but to kill them all. If there's a court system, they would have had an alternative.
Right.
They would-
That's pretty clear.
But he says here, let me read his words. But I hear what you're saying. But the Rambam's words are, because that a guy has these 7 mitzvahs, and he has to observe them, and if he doesn't, he gets killed with the sword. Notice, Rambam here is speaking out clearly, with the sword, because that's what Shimon and Levi took. And umipnei zeh, because of this, nischayvu, they were obligated. Kol Baalei Shechem, all the people of the city of Shechem, hariga, to be killed. Shaharei Shechem Gazel, because Shechem stole.
Oh, but it says all the people. You mean all the men only? Or
Well, one second, we'll get to the lays in a minute.
Killed by whom?
Well, it says whoever is around to enforce it. Because Shechem stole, Vehem and the city, they ra'u.
They were
They saw
complicit.
it, Veyadu, and they knew.
They didn't do anything
They
about
knew
it.
what happened. Veloy danu, and they didn't judge him. Uben Noach is ne'arag, and a guy will be killed if you just have one witness and one judge, and he doesn't even get warning. You don't have to tell him, well, do you know you're doing this and this wrong? No, he knows
this
there's
is a
7
king and a
mitzvahs.
prince again. It's like
Alpi, with one judge and one witness, he gets killed. So therefore, the Rambam is saying that they were all obligated, and then that's why they got killed. That is his words. His words were umipnei zeh nischayvu kol baalei Shechem hariga. That's why they were all already obligated to be killed. That's the Rambam's idea. So what was your question before?
Yaakov was.
Oh.
He,
So now,
why was he upset? I mean,
It sounds like
Yeah.
a revenge thing
at
to
his
me.
sons. He said
With
On
what?
the surface,
With
it
the
would seem
brothers?
like, yeah, you kidnap my sister, I'll kill you all. Right?
now, but we have to realize that these were
I know, really pious men.
really pious men, and it wasn't just their emotions that was running away with
They
them.
felt justified what they were doing.
And they were doing a mitzvah. That's one of the mitzvahs is someone doesn't keep the law, so if they're a witness, and right, there's a
They
judge.
didn't say
so
that,
what's
though.
Yaakov's
They didn't say
point?
that. They said, should this be done to a daughter of Yaakov? They didn't say, I have to kill.
Yeah.
So the truth is,
because it's a mitzvah.
I do want to speak out that the Ramban comes in and attacks the Rambam, and the Ramban says he asks your question. He says after he brings down this whole idea, he asks your question that why did. Here he brings down just clearly he brings the whole case.
Jacob
Right.
didn't reprimand him for doing it. He did reprimand him for saying there might be repercussions from other nations. He was more afraid of that, and of repercussions from other nations.
The Ramban, when he brings them down, he brings down the Rambam, and he writes that's why they were all obligated to be killed. And then he says a little bit later, okay, beautiful. He says, I don't think this is right, because why? Yaakov, right? Yaakov should have went ahead of his children. Why did Shimon and Levi go and kill?
Right.
Why did Yaakov go and kill the whole city? That's his question. And instead he got angry at them. He told them that you were fast when you were acting. You acted too fast. So why did he should have himself gone? It's a mitzvah. It's one of the mitzvahs. You got to enforce the 7 mitzvahs. So therefore he says, and maybe you want to say, so what was your answer, right? Your answer is, but maybe the reason why Yaakov had a claim against them was because he was scared of the surrounding cities. Maybe he was scared. You attack a city, you kill a city, maybe you're right. It's a mitzvah.
They're going to kill us.
But they're going to kill us. But all the neighboring cities might just gang up and attack against Yaakov. So maybe that's why he was scared.
Oh, it says that's what he says. That's what he says.
What does he say?
Yeah, he says it.
What's his words?
He says,
Right. Well, it's not clear what he
he's
says
very
clearly.
clear. He's very clear.
In Pasuk Lamed, he said, in the end of verse 30, he says, we are a few people. V'nesfu alai. Maybe they will gather up. They will gather on me. V'hikuni, and they'll hit me. They'll smite me. V'nishmadati, and I will be wiped away. Ani ubesi, me
and the whole house.
And my house. I will be annihilated. They bring down. So therefore,
he's looking at the bigger picture, that the whole everything will be destroyed from your act. They'll all gang up on us and kill us.
So
and
therefore,
he's right.
So Rashi and the actual verse, that could be their
I don't know
reply.
that it's right, because we say when the mitzvah comes to you, you grab it. So that's the mitzvah that came to them.
1 second.
Wait a minute.
When a mitzvah comes, you grab it. Would you grab that mitzvah?
No.
This is
already it's already, you need a lot of braveness and courage to do this mitzvah. But not only that, but you're not allowed to do the mitzvah if it would be putting their life in danger. Yaakov's saying here, I'm scared of all the neighboring cities. Maybe I could take on one city, small city, but maybe all the other cities will gang up against me. Then Yaakov is not allowed to put his life in danger, right? One of the 613 mitzvahs says you have to watch your life. Can't put your life in danger. You can't do anything dangerous.
It says you have to run away to try and avoid.
To what?
You have to try and run away from the situation to try.
Yeah, if there's something where your life is in danger, a person's allowed to eat non-kosher. If he's starving and the only thing that's in his city that he can eat is non-kosher food, he's allowed to eat non-kosher food. If he's starving and there's no bread, there's no nothing, right? He's allowed to do he's allowed to transgress any of the mitzvahs except for the big 3, if he's going to be put to death. But here, this is not one of the big 3 mitzvahs. So Yaakov said, "You're right. It's a good mitzvah."
What do you mean when you say the big 3?
To either adultery, or to serve idols, or to kill. Those 3.
Yeah, it's like unnatural sex.
Or even to be maybe with someone's wife.
Or to be with somebody who's not your wife.
Right. Well, we'll have to.
Or like be with a man, or do other things like.
That's for sure.
Animals and things like that.
You're right. That's for sure. That's right. Those are the 3 things that even if someone puts a gun and says you have to do one of these 3 things, you're not allowed to listen to that. But every other mitzvah in the Torah.
Adultery is it though?
Half of Toronto will be
I don't remember hearing adultery.
There'll be a
the big 3 are in Hebrew are Gilui Arayos, Shvichas Damim, and Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah is serving idols. Gilui Arayos is adultery.
Okay.
And Shvichas Damim is killing blood.
I think the literal I heard was an abomination, like a sexual abomination. And that's
okay. So we have to check up exactly where the line would be. But those are the big 3. But says Yaakov, you're right. It's not a good thing. It's not. They transgressed the mitzvah. They should have made a court system, but it's not something that you put your life in danger. That's what he was telling his son Although he himself
they
should have.
responded not by saying we did a mitzvah. They responded by saying, should this be done to a daughter of Jacob?
Right. So they responded, well, but that's what's going to happen for our daughter. Our daughter this should happen to her. So this is the Ramban's idea, and the Ramban brings up, maybe you'll say that that's why he was scared. He didn't want
But
to.
they got away with it. They did it.
And he says like so you brought up the Ramban, and you brought up further the Ramban, and he says the proof of the pudding is that they actually did it. Then they got the mitzvah because they trusted in God.